Welcome back to the Denser with Spencer podcast. I'm Spencer, and I'm going to make you feel a bit stupider with stupid stories from my life. It's currently raining, and my hair's getting wet. There's a car over there driving towards me. Hello, car. So this one time, I was in the Navy, and this car's still driving towards me. Hello, car. What are you doing? Are you the police? Nope, not the police. Just a random person. Hello. So this one time I was in the Navy and it was my birthday. So I decided to go out and get a drink at a bar. And one of my sailor friends came with me. Let's call him Ben. No, let's not call him Ben. Let's call him... Yeah, let's call him Ben. So Ben and I go down to the bar, and he is 18 and I'm 24 that day. Yeah, I turned 24 that day. So we go down to the bar and I get a drink and I get a couple drinks and it's fine. And then this girl from base calls me. We'll call her Deborah. Debbie calls me and she's like, hey, me and some other sailors are out drinking on the beach. Do you want to come down and drink with us? And I was like, fuck yeah, I do. So I fucked off down to the beach. And, what I call him? Ben came with me. And he was like, I don't want to drink, but I feel like you people are all going to get smashed on the beach. And you need a responsible adult to unfuck your lives. And I was like, you know what? That sounds reasonable. Come along. So we went down to the beach. And it was me and Ben and Debbie and... what's Charles and we'll call them Charles and Bill. So Charles, Bill, Debbie, and I all got very drunk on the beach. I stopped on the way down there and picked up a bottle of tequila, a bottle of mix, a bag of ice, and some cups. And we were all having a great time. And it was California in the winter, because my birthday's in December. Loud bugs. And we all got pretty drunk. And it got cold. It wasn't deathly cold because it was California, but there was a breeze blowing in off the beach and, we got chilly. So me, Debbie, Bill, and what was the sea name? Charles, all just started drunken spooning on the beach. And somehow I lucked out and I got to be next to the female, so that was nice. But at that point, I kind of get fuzzy on the details, and I passed out at some point. But I woke up because the tide came in on us and soaked us all to the bone. It's dark and I'm looking around. The tide came in on us and we all got soaked to the bone. Except for Bill, but not Bill. The first B name I said, the one that wasn't drunk. He was like, oh, I knew it. You all have done fucked up your lives. Hold on, I'll call a cab. So we all pick up all of our stuff, soaking wet, run off the beach. What's his name calls a cab. Cab picks us up. Is very upset that we are covered in sand and soaking wet, and drives us back to base. I get dropped off at my barracks, and I go in. And part of going in and out of the barracks is, and in the Navy at a training command, is you treat the barracks like it's a ship. And you walk in and you hold up your ID and you say, permission to come aboard. And then the watchstander on the quarterdeck says, come aboard. And then you can go upstairs into your room. So I walk in, very wet, covered in sand, drunk and slurring, permission to come aboard. And the watchstander's like, I don't know. Just go to your room. Don't come back. I said my last name by default there, because that's how I think of myself when I was in the Navy. But he says, last name, just go up to your room and don't come back down until morning, sober up. And I was like, aye. And I went upstairs and I got to my room And I put my hands in my pockets. And I had no key in my pockets. My key had walked away when the tide came in on us. So I went back down to the quarterdeck, and I went around to the side to talk to the actual head watchstander, who was occasionally an NCO, but I believe this evening it was an NCO, but it was like a lower rank NCO, so it wasn't like someone that could royally fuck my life. And I was like, "Good evening, petty officer. I am locked out of my room. I have lost my key." And he looks at me in my state with the wet and the mud and the sand and the drunk. And he says, "Holy fuck, last name. I don't know where you've been. I don't know what you've been doing. I'm just glad you're not dead in a ditch somewhere. I'm going to let you into your room, and I'm going to write you a note on a sticky note and give it to you, saying that you lost your key and to get a new one from BEQ in the morning, because you will not remember this conversation in the morning." And I was like, "Thank you, petty officer." So he took me back up to my room, let me in, wrote me a note. I actually remember this conversation. It's not something that was told afterwards. I was actually sober enough at this point to remember it. And I went to sleep. I woke up the next morning. My birthday is Christmas Eve. This year was 2014. Christmas Eve was on a Thursday. Christmas Day was on a Friday. BEQ, where I could get a new room key, was closed on Christmas. The 26th was Saturday. BEQ was closed on the weekends. The 27th was also the weekend. So I had to spend about 4 days without a key to my room, which made it really difficult to go out and do anything. So I ended up having to jimmy my door so it wouldn't latch behind me, so I could actually leave my room and do stuff and not get locked out of my room. And then finally on Monday, I was able to go and get a new key from retired senior petty officer Smith, who ran BEQ. We'll just call him Smith. And that's really the end of the story. Nothing else interesting happened. Although I did end up roommates with Bill at a later point, which was fun. And at one point, all of us that were on the beach that night, me, Ben, that was the first name of the first sailor, me, Ben, Bill, Charles, and Debbie all ended up living on the same barracks floor for a while. Another car. Hello. And it was fun. It was like, hey, remember that time? So that's the end of that story. I'm getting more and more wet because it's still raining. So like and subscribe or whatever.